After spending over $80 million on ads for various business types, from SaaS to e-commerce, I've learned what really works. So in today's video, I'll share 5 key learnings from running thousands of campaigns across Google and Meta ads. And I'm doing this so you guys don't have to waste precious years and thousands of dollars into testing, but you can just spend 15 minutes and understand what strategies and what key things to either do or to avoid on both Google and Meta ads. So whether you're spending $1,000 a month or you're even spending $1 million a month, these key insights will help you understand the fundamentals regardless of your industry, regardless of your ad spend, of what you need to consider when running your ad account to actually be effective, to actually scale it, and to do so at profit. So with that, let's hop right into key insight number 1, which is actually understanding that the biggest ROAS movers in your ad account are gonna happen outside of your ad account. Yes, I said that. If you wanna improve your ROAS, look outside of your ad account versus inside to start. And that may sound confusing, but let me explain. Most times what I see happen is there's a lot of advertisers out there who they're looking for the fancy new hack, the new strategy, the new ad copy or creative that's gonna fix their ad account. But again, we have to remember as marketers, we're running real people to a real product, to a real landing page, and presenting an offer in front of them. And so I just mentioned it in that sentence. There's really 3 components that if you really drill these, you won't have to really focus on the next new big strategy, the biggest tweak, the biggest, most relevant optimizations in your ad account. You can increase your ROAS, your return on ad spend, tomorrow if you improve 3 things. And that is your landing page, your offer, and most importantly, your product that you're actually selling. And the reason why that these are important is because, as I mentioned, these are real people going to your website. And if your ad is promoting one thing and you're sending them to a landing page that has very low credibility, or it's just very confusing, it's hard to check out, it's slow, or the offer is very poor, or the continuity of the landing page versus what they've seen on the ad is disconnected, then nobody's gonna convert. And then most importantly, if you're sending people to a page and your product is just not a good product and it doesn't have credibility behind it, meaning there's very low reviews, there's very little understanding or unique selling points as to why your product or your service is the best solution for whatever it is that they've seen in the ad or whatever it is they typed on Google, then you're never gonna convert. And so if you have a product that's just super commoditized, meaning everybody has what you offer, but whoever offers it for cheapest is gonna get the sale, then you're fighting a losing battle. You need to develop your product in a way where it has good product market fit and demand, but it also has selling points and differentiators that separate you from competitors and actually get people to buy. And so I'm gonna actually share my screen and walk you through a supplement company that's doing this very, very effectively. This brand is called IM8. It's essentially a health supplement similar to like an AG1 or a Bloom. It's a nutrient-dense supplement that supplies you with various micronutrients, etc. First things first, I click an ad and I go to this landing page. First thing I'm hit with, look at this offer. This is probably what they're promoting in the ad. They're already checking the box of making sure that the offer is congruent with what it is that I seen in the ad. But let's just click off of this. Let's say I didn't give them my email to start, right? It already mentions everything I'd get, but let's just say I didn't go there. Well, look at this. Look what's going on. It's saying heart health, longevity, energy, immunity. It's telling me everything that this is going to support. It has credibility just behind the fact that David Beckham is a co-founding partner of it. Them putting his name on the website already immediately gives me a sense of credibility, knowing that he's probably not going to put his name or co-found a company that is not somewhat credible and the product does not speak for itself. Couple other things down here, as featured in section. Look at this, already gives me, I don't even know what these publications are, but this already gives me more confidence, right? And so again, speaking to the credibility, I already know that I can trust this product, that it is good, and I know immediately what it is, what it does for me, right? Endurance, it improves brain health, heart health, all these things. So I don't even need to go and research all the ingredients in this product. I already know the offer because I was hit with it immediately. I know why it's credible and I know why I should buy it and what it's going to do for me. And so of course I realize that not everybody has a celebrity that can endorse their product. And that's not what I'm saying, but there's pieces on that website that you can include. Everybody has a specific number of product reviews. Flexing that or where you've been publicized on, who's endorsed your product, et cetera, are all gonna build your credibility. the landing page continuity from ad to where the prospect is led is very smooth. So again, understanding that portion of things is gonna save you so many headaches when you actually go to run ads. I have managed so many ad accounts where I've had to do so much for so little, and then vice versa as well, where I've done very little and I've seen so much incremental impact simply not because I look like a superhero, but primarily because the business invested time into having a solid landing page and, more importantly, a solid product or service. So again, not to beat a dead horse, but focus on those things if you actually want to improve your ROAS long-term and you don't want to just chase short successes. And with that, hopping right into key insight number 2, which is understanding that your conversion tracking setup is going to have the highest level of correlation to your ads actually being able to scale and actually be profitable. So to explain things a little bit deeper here, there's 2 reasons why this is. The main reason why this is because if your conversion tracking is faulty, meaning you're either not tracking things properly and you're underreporting things, if you actually got 5 purchases and you're only reporting 1 back, or let's say the opposite is true. Let's say you got 5 purchases, but Google Ads is getting 10 back and they're saying you actually got 10. That tells me that something would be wrong with conversion tracking, right? And I see this probably in about 80 to 90% of ad accounts that I audit. And the main reason that this actually hurts your campaigns is because machine learning, that is the algorithm of Google and Meta ads, it gets really good over time at repeating the behavior we're telling it to optimize for. So for example, if we have a campaign and it is optimizing for whatever reason, it's optimizing for page views, which I actually see happen quite often, then we are essentially reinforcing the algorithm that they're doing a very good job for us whenever somebody clicks our ad and just goes to our page, but they do nothing else. They don't care about a purchase actually happening. They just care about somebody actually making it to our landing page. And so if you are feeding the machine learning very bad quality signals, like page views, they'll get good at doing that, but never actually getting you a sale. So all that to say, the quality of the signal or the data point that you're optimizing for completely determines your success in being able for the machine learning to repeat that revenue driving action, i.e. a purchase or a lead. So make sure you're feeding them the right quality signals so they can get better over time at doing it for you. It makes your ad account management way easier, I promise. And then number 2, the reason why that's so impactful to make sure your conversion tracking is set up properly. And the reason why I say that this has the highest correlation to your success in your ad account is because if you're actively managing your ads and you're looking at weekly changes to implement in your ads, but your conversion tracking is set up poorly, you're actually hurting your ad account. You're gambling. You're simply making changes in the ad account based on data that is not tied back to actual revenue that you're generating in your ad account. And so whenever you're pausing a keyword or you're turning a campaign off or increasing the budget on a campaign, you don't actually know if it was getting you revenue and if that change is actually sound or not. And so before you make those changes, make sure your conversion tracking is actually sound and set up properly so you can have confidence in your changes, or else you're simply hurting your ad account and your performance. Hopping right into key insight number 3, it's actually gonna be to stop letting your ego get in the way and to test new things. I've done this, I've fallen victim to this where I've said, hey, I know how Google Ads works. I know how Facebook Ads works. I am not testing that. That is silly. I'm gonna be going backwards if I test it. However, that type of thinking is so limited, and the only thing it's actually done for me is made me waste more money than I needed to. And so if you're an advertiser or you're a business owner and you're running ads, you may hear new things come out monthly, even weekly in some of these ad accounts. And it's likely caused you some skepticism. For example, broad match keywords on Google Ads, or only running broad targeting on Facebook ads. These things sound like, what the heck? That sounds so one-dimensional, so irresponsible with my budget. I am not gonna do that. However, you're wrong, and I was wrong too. And so those are 2 isolated examples. For example, running broad match, which is now my favorite match type and most effective match type on Google Ads, and broad targeting on Meta ads. I would have never thought to do that years ago, but now I let the machine learning do all the targeting for me and my ad creative do the targeting for me, and I don't have to worry about dialing in or limiting a specific audience. So those are really just 2 examples, but that's really a more macro call out to, as updates come out on Google, or on Meta ads to at least test them with a small budget to understand if your skepticism is actually valid, or again, if you've just adopted this small view of what Google ads should be and is, and you're not allowing the platform to actually evolve and you're not evolving with it, meaning you're limiting your results. And what I've found to be most valuable is when something new happens to, for example, in Google ads, like a PMAX campaign, or let's say Meta, there's a new update to an Advantage Plus shopping campaign. I don't typically adopt the newest features right away. I typically wait 2 to 3 months before I adopt them, simply because when they first announced that this feature or this function is out to the public, they're collecting a lot of data. And I don't like to be the guinea pig in understanding why my results are bad and letting them improve the product, because they will improve their product or whatever feature they rolled out, but it takes advertisers to get them that data. And so I'm not a huge fan of immediately implementing or testing something in the ad account, but I will wait a few months until they've improved the feature or whatever rollout that they've implemented in the platform, and then I'll test it. Moving right along to key insight number 4, and that is going to be just know your metrics. Know what metrics are worthy of pausing something and scaling something. And so if you're still looking at how many clicks did I get, or what was my impression share on this, or what was my cost per click on this particular ad, you're focused on the wrong metric. And so those sub-metrics can be helpful to diagnosing larger problems. However, if I'm looking at my ad account and I'm understanding what's working and what's not working, I'm not gonna drill into those immediately. If I wanna optimize an ad account in 5 minutes, I'm pulling the biggest KPIs, the biggest things that I need to be looking at, things like return on ad spend, cost per conversion, conversions, and conversion rate. Those are the biggest things I'm actually going to diagnose. CPCs, impression share, CPMs, all that other stuff is fluff most times, and it can be helpful in isolated incidents, but for the most part, don't stress yourself out. Most of the times when you make changes based off of those 4 key buckets of metrics, you will improve your performance in your ad account. So for example, I'm in an ad account right now and I'm just looking last 7 days, and right away, I have my KPIs pulled up. I have how many purchases were yielded in each campaign, what's the cost per result, and what's the ROAS. Right? And then I have, of course, sub-metrics over here, CPMs, reach, impressions, click-through rate, et cetera, et cetera. But for the most part, these are the things I care about. These are the things that are gonna tell me how I should prioritize my time in the ad account. And this becomes increasingly more crucial to have when you're dealing with really large spend ad accounts or really sophisticated structures with various products or services being advertised. And so for example, in here, if I were to go in here right away, this campaign, boom, you guys seen it as well. This campaign is doing poor. I might pause this campaign here soon, or I simply might know that this is really just a symptom of me being able to say, hey, something's wrong with the ads or the landing page. It'll help me diagnose and spend my time prioritizing the underperformers. Whereas I can quickly tell, well, this is our best campaign last 7 days. We need to start to scale it. We have tons of ROAS growth. It's at a 5 right now. We can easily scale this prospecting campaign. It makes your decision-making a lot more clear without you having to spend hours in your ad account. And last but not least, actually may even be the most important, it's less is more. Oftentimes people think building several campaigns is the answer to increasing the ROAS or even scaling the ad account. And it's simply not true, because when you do it, you fundamentally run into 2 issues. One, you are simply splicing the data, meaning you are dividing data between campaigns. And as I mentioned on key point number 2, conversion tracking is most important. And whenever you have fewer campaigns, that means you have more data going to each campaign, meaning they're most likely gonna be yielding more conversions in those campaigns versus if it was spread super thin, which means that the machine learning gets better at not only scaling those campaigns and getting more and more purchases, because now they understand who to target and how to bid appropriately for those conversions, but they actually get more efficient. So if you want to increase your return on ad spend, this is how you do it. And it starts with account consolidation. And so again, I know it's super tempting, but there are literally brands spending millions of dollars a month in ad spend with very simple structures. And then I'll audit ad accounts that are spending $20,000, $30,000 a month, and it's simply hurting their results. And so for example, example, this is an ad account that I manage right now, and we have 3 campaigns that are active right now. We have 2 search campaigns and 1 PMAX campaign. And the way we have it is we have a prospecting search campaign, a branded search campaign, and then we just have a performance max campaign that's excluding brand names. And as you can see, this is just this year. So from January to February 9th, we have yielded 498 conversions at a ROAS of over a 6. Account wide, we did turn off some things. It's over an 8 actually, but across these campaigns, it is over a 6 ROAS. And we're spending about £1,000 a day. And so all that to say, before you go and you launch another campaign, ask yourself, is this actually worthy of being in its separate campaign? And the litmus test I like to use for this is if you're launching a different product or a service or a completely different conversion goal, then I would say build a new campaign for it. But if the theme of the campaign is very similar, meaning you're gonna be selling very similar products at very similar profit margins, put it in the same campaign and let the algorithm determine where your money is best spent on either the ad if you're running in Meta or where your keyword spend is allocated if you're running in Google. So just as a quick recap, the number 1 insight was actually that your ROAS gains and your scalability is completely predicated on how good your product is, how good your offer and your landing page is. Key insight number 2 is that your conversion tracking is directly correlated with how much success you'll have in your ad account. Number 3 was simply to let your ego go and to test new things in these ad platforms as they roll out. Number 4 was to know your metrics, to simplify how you actually manage your ad account so you can make strategic decisions quickly when viewing your ad account daily. And number 5 was less is more, optimized toward a simplified, consolidated account structure that will overall yield you a better result. Thanks for watching. And if you want to know what my 2025 Meta retargeting strategy and structure looks like, hit the link above. Otherwise, please subscribe to stay up to date with more videos like this.